Welcome to this in-depth masterclass on Clause 8 of ISO 14001:2026. For environmental managers, ISO consultants, auditors, and all professionals responsible for making environmental management a reality on the ground. Today, we bridge the critical gap between strategic planning and daily execution. We will dissect Clause 8, titled Operation, which is arguably the most vital component of your environmental management system. It is here that all the policies, objectives, and risk assessments you meticulously developed in Clauses 4 through 7 are translated into tangible actions and measurable results. Without robust operational control, your EMS is merely a set of documents with no real-world impact. This session will provide a comprehensive guide to mastering Clause 8, focusing on the significant updates introduced in the 2026 revision of the standard. Our primary objective is to equip you with the knowledge and tools to audit-proof your operations. We will explore what each subclause means, what has changed from the 2015 version, and what your organization must implement to ensure full compliance. Throughout this training, we will maintain a practical, implementation-oriented perspective. We will move beyond theory and provide real-world examples, actionable tips, and a clear understanding of what auditors will be looking for when they walk through your facility. Our core message today is simple but profound. Clause 8 determines whether your environmental planning is actually implemented and controlled within your operations. It is the proving ground for your entire system. An EMS that fails at Clause 8 fails entirely, exposing the organization to significant environmental risks, compliance breaches, and reputational damage. By the end of this session, you will have a detailed understanding of how to avoid these failures. You will be prepared to not only pass your next audit, but to build an operational framework that genuinely protects the environment and enhances your business performance. Let us begin this essential journey. Clause 8 is where the theoretical framework of your EMS becomes a living, breathing part of your organization's daily life. Think of your EMS as a high-performance vehicle. Clause 6, Planning, is the navigation system that sets the destination and plots the course. Clause 7, Support, provides the fuel, the skilled driver, and the well-maintained parts. However, it is Clause 8, Operation, that functions as the engine, the transmission, and the wheels. It is the mechanism that takes the strategic intent and propels the vehicle forward. It's where your identified environmental risks become robust operational controls. Your ambitious objectives become concrete actions, and your legal obligations become ingrained operational behaviors. The 2026 revision of ISO 14001 places an even greater emphasis on this execution phase. It requires demonstrable evidence that controls are effective and integrated into the very fabric of your business processes. It pushes organizations to look beyond their own four walls, extending influence and control over their supply chain and outsourced activities. This shift means that auditors will be spending significantly more time on the shop floor, in the warehouse, and with your contractors. They will be observing activities, interviewing operators, and verifying that what is documented is what is actually happening. This is where the audit is won or lost. In this training, we will act as your guide through this critical operational landscape. We will examine how to establish effective operational criteria for your significant environmental aspects: waste generation, energy consumption, chemical handling. We will explore the nuances of managing change to prevent unintended environmental consequences. Furthermore, we will delve into the strengthened requirements for emergency preparedness, ensuring your organization is resilient in the face of potential incidents, including those exacerbated by climate change. We will translate the formal language of the standard into practical steps you can take tomorrow to strengthen your system. Ultimately, mastering Clause 8 is about achieving consistency, control, and confidence. It is about ensuring that every employee understands their role, from senior leadership to frontline operators. A well-implemented Clause 8 not only prevents audit nonconformities but also drives operational efficiency, reduces waste, mitigates risk, and builds a powerful culture of environmental responsibility. Let's explore how to build this operational engine. Clause 8.1, Operational Planning and Control, is where the strategic intent of your EMS materializes into concrete, everyday actions. It is the direct successor to Clause 6, taking the identified significant environmental aspects, compliance obligations, and risks, and creating mechanisms to manage them. The fundamental requirement is to establish, implement, control, and maintain processes to meet EMS requirements. It is about building a robust framework of control that ensures consistent and predictable environmental performance. These operational controls can take many forms. They often begin with documented procedures and work instructions. However, effective control goes far beyond just writing a document. It includes engineering controls like automatic shutoff valves on tanks or sound enclosures on noisy equipment. It involves robust maintenance programs to ensure pollution control equipment operates at peak efficiency. It can also include automation and monitoring systems that provide real-time data and alerts, removing the potential for human error. A critical concept is the establishment of operational criteria. These are specific, measurable parameters that define acceptable performance. For a wastewater treatment plant, pH levels, flow rates, or chemical dosing concentrations. For a painting process, it could be the maximum allowable VOC content or the specified temperature and humidity for the spray booth. These criteria remove ambiguity and subjectivity, ensuring that the process is controlled consistently, regardless of who is operating it. This clause also explicitly requires the organization to control planned changes and review the consequences of unintended changes, mitigating any adverse effects as necessary. And crucially, Clause 8.1 extends responsibility beyond your own gates. You must ensure outsourced processes are controlled or influenced. This applies to your suppliers, your contractors, and any service you rely on. In essence, Clause 8.1 demands a systematic, risk-based approach to managing all operational activities to prevent pollution and fulfill the organization's environmental commitments. Clause 8.2, Emergency Preparedness and Response, recognizes that despite the best planning, emergencies can still occur. Its purpose is to identify potential emergencies and have a robust response plan to prevent or mitigate environmental impacts. This is a critical test of an EMS's resilience. A system may look perfect on paper, but it must function under extreme pressure. The first step is to identify potential emergency situations and accidents. This should link directly to your aspects, risks, and compliance obligations. Chemical spills, fires, gas leaks, failure of pollution control equipment leading to a major release. The 2026 revision requires you to think broader, considering climate-related emergencies like floods, wildfires, or extended power outages. For each identified scenario, you must plan and maintain documented procedures that detail the specific response actions. A spill response plan should detail immediate containment actions, internal notification protocols, external notification requirements, the location and use of spill kits, and cleanup and disposal procedures. Crucially, procedures must define roles, responsibilities, and authorities. In an emergency, people must know their job, who is in charge, and who to communicate with. The standard requires you to periodically test your response procedures. Don't just write a plan and file it away. Tests are designed to reveal weaknesses in the plan, equipment shortfalls, or gaps in training. You must then review and revise your procedures based on these tests and any actual incidents, using the lessons learned to drive continuous improvement and strengthen your preparedness. To summarize, the 2026 revision significantly strengthens Clause 8. There is an expanded lifecycle perspective and increased control over contractors and suppliers. There are greater expectations for climate resilience and an enhanced focus on emergency preparedness. And there is a much stronger demand for evidence-based operational verification, moving from procedural control into integrated environmental operational management. Now let's look at common implementation failures. The most frequent is procedures not being followed operationally. Weak contractor oversight is another major finding. Incomplete lifecycle considerations, especially at the design stage. Poor operational monitoring and verification. Uncontrolled operational changes introducing new risks. And finally, ineffective emergency drills that fail to test real-world readiness. So, how do auditors assess Clause 8? They focus heavily on real operational behavior, not documentation alone. Site observations, operator interviews, emergency drill evaluations, and above all, they are looking for evidence of control effectiveness. Here is a practical roadmap. 1. Review your operational risks and ensure every significant aspect has a control. 2. Strengthen your operational controls, moving beyond procedures to engineering and automation where possible. 3. Improve your contractor management with formal evaluations and contractual requirements. 4. Integrate life cycle thinking into your design and procurement processes. 5. Enhance your monitoring and verification to prove your controls are effective. 6. Modernize your emergency preparedness with realistic, climate-aware drills. And 7. Continuously evaluate your operational effectiveness using data from audits, monitoring, and reviews. Remember our final key message. Clause 8 determines whether your EMS works in the real world, not just on paper. We encourage you to strengthen operational discipline, build resilient environmental controls, and integrate sustainability into your operations. Prepare for the deeper operational audit scrutiny that the 2026 standard demands.